What you are watching right now is the teaser trailer for Silksoul, a very ambitious upcoming mod for Hollow Knight Silksong, and the team for this is quite stacked. We got Mebi, which was an artist I believe worked on the Pale Court mod. We got Zoo, another fellow content creator that did the video editing. We got Mossbag for the emotional support TM. We also got Minferna, who was known for recreating some of the Silksong tracks before the game came out. And I've also seen one of the developers for Cogfly in the Discord, although I don't see them on this list. Now, I first heard about this mod from Primicon's video, and when I was first seeing it, I really thought that what it was basically a proverbial middle finger to Team Cherry, like, you wouldn't give us Coral Gorge, so we're gonna do it ourselves. But now that I've actually looked into this and seen what their goals are and so on, this is something that I can actually get behind now. Looking at the press kit that they have for it, which, by the way, side note, anything that has a press kit, especially this early, just whoever put this press kit together already, thank you. According to the press kit, adventure through a reimagined kingdom based on early Hollow Knight Silksong development maps. Explore coral reefs, clover groves, and ant nests as you ascend to the peak of a promised land ruled by silk and song. From what I can gather from, as well as the Discord FAQ, this is essentially a recreation of the old map of Silksong from 2021. For those that don't know, back during the early parts of that year, the game looked a lot different. Like, the map was like fully fleshed out and developed. They had certain ideas for it and so on. But after that point, there was a lot of things that were changed, and mechanics and story things that didn't work out and so on. So which is part of why the game took so long, is because they basically redid a lot of stuff and changed a whole bunch of ideas and things. Stuff like the Coral Gorge and Hunter's March becoming like a lot smaller, and in like Act 3 dream stuff and all of that. That's why it's the way it is because they changed things around at that point. But what this mod is intending to do is, it's not them trying to make a better Silksong, quote unquote. It's about them making sort of a new game plus, or a B-side as they're calling it, which is not a term that I am familiar with, but okay. It's a way to replay the game in essentially an alternate universe of Barloom. So the Coral Gorge is a thing, Hunter's March is bigger, or what they're calling Hunter's Nest, apparently. And with the trailer, it looks like they're going to be redoing bosses and, making things harder for the people that are coming back. So it's not making a better Silksong, it's letting you be able to replay the game with kind of a new story in a way. And they're also going to be having a mix of content that was, mentioned over time and have been seen in the files but haven't actually been a thing, and also adding new stuff. For example, they've actually shown a teaser of Mosshome today, and there's a bit of like dialogue between Hornet and the Weaver stone thingy, which is very interesting. I don't think that's something that was like cut. It's just something that they're doing. Myself personally, while I am a very big modding user when it comes to games, and I'm very supportive of mods and so on, when it comes to story mods that are kind of like expanding it and kind of changing things around and so on, I tend to be wary of that sort of thing, because I don't want to get canon and fanon confused. And there's also kind of the thing of like, essentially whatever the indie game equivalent of Mojang Lazy is, you know what I mean? So I tend to be wary of that sort of thing. But the way that this is coming across to me, I think this is something that I can get behind. It's quite interesting. And they've also mentioned that there are some areas that are not in the 2021 map, like Biowater and Wormways. I think a lot of people are going to be excited about that one. There's also some other interesting things, like they're not adding the exclusive stuff to Steel Soul, because Team Cherry is already going to do that. So there's certain things like, you know, Farloom Bay and that sort of stuff that we know is going to be added to the main game that they're not, like, going to touch. And also, something interesting about Act 3. Act 3 and the Void are not going to be in Silksoul, which is quite interesting. Although they're mentioning there'll be a future expansion. I don't know if that means an update or maybe it's like another mode, like a New Game Plus on New Game Plus called Silksoul Plus. Although they're not really saying a lot of that because, you know, the main project is already early on, so why? How would they even know what to say about it? But that does mean that the old heart bosses are going to be actual, you know, things in the game. Like Hunter's March is, you know, a living, still very strong area that was a lot bigger back in 2021. So that combined with like upgraded bosses is quite interesting. I could really get behind seeing Cross King Khan and GMS upgraded. That would be really cool, to be honest. There's also a lot of other things that have been shown, like teasers, different little videos and clips of stuff. I already mentioned that they did a clip of Mosshome today, and they also did Moss Grotto yesterday. While things do look a little rough in certain places, they are being very clear. This is like early on, and I understand when you just add like different items into a room, it's gonna look weird until you get the lighting properly and you put all the tiles together in a way that looks natural and so on. So while I was pretty apprehensive on first hearing about this mod, now that I understand more of the scope and like what the goal is, I can really get behind this project now. And to be honest, I've never done an interview before, but if one of the devs is watching, like Jakara? Hello? Who are you? Anyway, if one of you is watching, I'd love to like get together and like kind of pick your brain a little bit, do a little interview thing, if you'd like to. If you are wondering when this project is coming out, it has been confirmed for 2032. Yeah, they don't have a release date yet, but they have noted that development is working a lot more smoothly than they thought, which is, ooh, and, you know, getting more team members and stuff quickly and so on. So shouldn't be too long. It's just probably after Sea of Sorrow, so that it's not going to hold you over till then. I'd also like to note for my regular viewers, for those that saw my community post, this is not the essay video I was talking about. I'm kind of all over the place right now, but I guess I should note that despite the name, this is not literally the cut Silksoul mode that Team Cherry brought up back in 2019. It's more of a reference to it for those that know, because it's cut content, so name the cool new mode after it, you know? But I guess with that, thank you for watching. Oh, and one more thing. You know that music in the teaser trailer? On first hearing, I kind of didn't like it, actually. It felt a little off. But the more I listen to it, is the more that it's kind of growing on me. And you want to know what it's called? Endeavor!